Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our webinar on the pharma industry performance for the month of January. Thank you so much for joining us today, the first day of the week. As we have seen, the data was released yesterday, and we have seen that the market has shown a super duper growth of close to 13.9% for the month of January. It's a very exciting thing to hear that the market has grown so well. So today we will be spending a lot of time in understanding about the analysis of the market in terms of this growth. Today's presentation, we have actually tried to keep it very short, simple, and crisp. And the points that we will be covering is we will be focusing more on the IPM therapy performance, the overall performance, certain outlier segments, and the impact of these outliers on the IPM performance, the growth drivers, the top 40 corporates, the top 40 brands, key takeaways, and opinions that matter. This is our much liked section, wherein today we will be introducing Mr. Harpal Wala, who has helped or who has looked into ensuring that his organization, Kepler, becomes a very strong company, a big company in a brief period of 5 to 7 years. So without spending more time on discussing on the content, I will go directly to the presentation. So IPM therapy performance. Now we have seen that at a MAT level, the IPM has grown at close to 15.8%, which is absolutely in line with what had happened last month as well. But if you look at for the month, the IPM has really shown a robust growth of 13.9%. This is a phenomenal performance in terms of a monthly performance, especially when things have normalized, the COVID thing or the just a minute, I'm extremely sorry, where things have normalized and COVID things are back to normal. Now, is this 13.9% growth seen across all the therapy areas? Not really. In fact, when you look at details, we have realized that there are certain therapy areas which are behaving like outliers. For example, the anti-infectives therapy, the respiratory therapy, the pain analgesic therapy. These are the three therapies which have grown extremely well and much higher than the overall IPM industry. If you look at the other players, the growth is quite decent, a single digit growth. But these three therapies have shown an absolutely high growth. Now, how would the IPM performance look if we had not considered these therapies? This is how the picture would look. In fact, IPM without anti-infectives, pain, and respiratory segment would have shown a monthly growth of close to 6%. This is more or less in line with the industry growth for the month that we had predicted for the month of January. Now, it is these outliers which have made a difference and pulled up the industry growth to 13.9%. And why did these three outliers make this difference? Because collectively, anti-infectives, respiratory, and pain segment, they contribute to close to 30% of the IPM. Now, these 30% contributing therapy areas, when they show this type of robust unit as well as value growth, definitely the IPM growth is going to be pulled up. Another positive sign overall for the IPM, what we can see is the growth is positive both at a value as well as unit level for MAT as well as month. Now, what we will be doing is throughout the presentation, we will not be focusing on all the therapies. We will just focus on the anti-infectives, respiratory, and pain and analgesics therapy. Now, even before going in detail, what we have done is we have just taken the top 10 therapies, and the top 10 therapies, we have tried to look at the trend for the last few years. We have started taking the data from Jan 2017 onwards. Now, gastro as a therapy in terms of absolute units consumed, it actually comes much above all therapies. In terms of value, it may be lower. If you see, the gastrotherapy is more or less normalized. The three outliers, which is the anti-infectives, which is showing a good upward tick, the pain portfolio, which is also showing a good upward tick, and the respiratory portfolio. Even this portfolio is showing a significant upward tick as compared to the other top 10 therapies. Now, if I were to look at the similar trend on value basis, we see that same phenomena of a value upward tick is seen in the anti-infective segment and the respiratory segment, and to some extent in the pain segment. In the COVID times, the anti-infectives, many high-end anti-infectives like hospital anti-infectives or favipiravir, remdesivir, these infectives have actually taken the value of the market up, and after normalization, the value of the market has come down. It would be interesting to see how the outlier therapies have behaved differently for the month of January, and for that we will probably have to look into little more details, some more segments within these outlier therapies, also within these segments, certain key molecules, and also within certain key molecules, certain brands. Okay, so we will start with the anti-infective therapy. So when we are looking at the anti-infective therapy, what we have done is we have plotted monthly unit trend of the anti-infective therapy for the last several years. And wherever I have put the arrow, that is actually the month of January. Jan 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. So how does the trend line look in terms of long-term basis? Because obviously this is a COVID year. So this is a disruption year. But if I do not look at the COVID year, and if I look at long-term, how does the trend line look? So if I were to draw a trend line from Jan 17 to Jan 22, more or less, the sale that we are seeing for the month of Jan 22 for the anti-infectives therapy is in line with the long-term trend. Now, this is a long-term unit trend. How does the picture look for long-term values? So if I look at the long-term value trend as well, you see that more or less the trend line is matching with the long-term trend. Obviously, there was an aberration in the COVID times where high-end anti-infectives were consumed more. And that's the reason why the consumption was higher, or the value was on a higher side. Now, within the anti-infectives therapy, did all the anti-infectives grow to that extent, or there were certain segments, the way we said for the IPM, the anti-infectives, the pain analgesics, and the respiratory segment have been outliers. Similarly, in the anti-infectives therapy, were there any outliers? Definitely. If you see, antibacterials, they contribute to 76% of the anti-infective therapy, antivirals 11%, and anti-parasitic agents another 2%. And what has been the growth of these three segments within the anti-infective segment? Antibacterials, the highest contributing segment, has grown by almost 35% for the month of January at a MAT level, in terms of value for the month, and in terms of units for the month, also it has grown by 35%. Now, this growth, I should not look in isolation, assuming that overall consumption went up that high. That's not the case. In this case, we should also look at the degrowth that this therapy had shown same time last year. So whenever we are saying that the growth is robust in this period, we need to look at three aspects. Aspect number one is the dip over same time last year, which the market had seen. Second is the normalization of the disease patterns, because now looking at the population growth, the prevalence and incidence of different diseases, and also thinking that probably the same number of people, or proportionately same percentage of people would get impacted or affected by the diseases, the growth in consumption patterns, all these things need to be taken into consideration. And also one more fact, the third and the most important fact is the Omicron or the COVID third wave, where probably the consumption of high-end anti-infectives like favipiravir or remdesivir would not have been that high, but then there were a good number of antibacterials, antivirals which were consumed, and that may have led to this growth. Now, within the antibacterials, antivirals, anti-parasitic agents, or overall in the anti-infectives, there are so many molecules. So does it mean that all the molecules within the antibacterial segment have shown this type of growth? No. Now, within the antibacterials as well, there have been certain molecules that have been outliers. For example, within the antibacterials, there are certain molecules and molecular combinations which have shown this type of robust growth at a MAT month value level and MAT month unit level. So there may have been, several molecules, but then there are close to 14 molecules which have actually driven the growth of the antibacterial segment. As we have seen overall for the anti-infectives, we have to look into the same consideration for this segment as well. We need to look into the degrowth that these segments had looked into same time last year. So the same formula or the same assumptions or conditions exist. Correction of the dip that existed in the last year, normalization of the disease patterns, and the third one is the third wave impact as well. Same situation, we look at favipiravir. There is another molecule, as oseltamivir, which has shown a significant growth for the month of January. As far as ivermectin is concerned, 50% of the molecule, or 50% of the anti-parasitic therapy is contributed by ivermectin as of today. And this therapy has grown by almost 100% at a MAT level, at a month level in terms of value, and 60% in terms of units for the month. So overall, though I may say that the anti-infective therapy has shown a robust 25% plus growth for the month of January, it is not all the molecules which have supported this type of growth. There are close to 20-25 molecules which have pulled up or driven the growth of the anti-infective therapy. Now, this was about the anti-infective therapy. Next, we move to the, before we move to the respiratory therapy, there is another molecule, molnupiravir, which was launched in January 22 itself. And within a brief period of just 1 month, within first month of launch, we have close to 30 players for molnupiravir. Within 1 month, the molecule is close to 35 crore market. And the top player, Hetero, with its brand Morphone, today is having close to 41%. This is a commendable performance by Hetero for having close to 41% of the market within the first month of launch. Next, we move to the respiratory therapy. In case of respiratory therapy, I have done the same trend line analysis, wherein I have plotted the monthly unit trend. And with this unit trend, then I have actually tried to put in the trend line from Jan 17 to Jan 22. So if I look at the trend line, to a great extent, the respiratory segment, as far as the unit trend line is concerned, it is matching if I just don't consider this aberration because of COVID. But when I look at the same trend line as far as value is concerned, and I try to connect Jan 17 to Jan 2022, many of the places I start aberration, or I see a gap, okay, a significant gap. If this line was touching all these points, where would the line ideally be? Ideally, if I were to touch 1, 2, 3, 4 these points, neglect or just not consider the COVID disruption, then ideally for the month of January, the respiratory value trend should have been over here. Now, the very fact that the unit trend line matches the long-term trend, but there is an aberration in the value trend, it means that there may be some price increase related impact that may have led to this gap in the respiratory segment. Now, within the respiratory segment, again, we have certain categories which have pulled up the growth of the respiratory segment. If you see anti-asthma products and cough and cold segments, they are the ones which contribute to around more than 80% or around 70-75% of the respiratory segment. And the cough and cold market has shown actually almost 100% growth for the month in terms of value and close to 90% growth in terms of unit. Now, this segment has pulled up the growth. Again, as we talked for the first segment, we should also look into the degrowth. Relatively same time last year, this therapy had shown a significant degrowth in terms of value for the month as well as units for the month. So the same three things come into picture: correction of the dip, normalization of the disease pattern, and since the number of cases in the third wave had been really relatively higher, and the most common medication that was given in the third wave was cough and cold preparations, some medication for headache or body pain. That's the reason why this therapy may also have picked up to this extent. After this, we come to the pain and analgesic segment. In the pain and analgesic segment, what we are seeing is there is a significant aberration even in the monthly unit trend. So if we were to follow this trend line, we would have seen that ideally this should have reached somewhere over here. If it has reached somewhere over here, then there is a gap. So there is an excessive consumption of certain pain and analgesics products which are not in line with the long-term trend. As we do a further analysis, we will look at which are those products which are leading to this type of aberration. Obviously, because we are seeing a gap in the monthly unit trend, we will also end up seeing the same type of gap in the monthly value trend as well. Now, analgesics as a category, it is majorly driven by the anti-inflammatory, anti-rheumatic, and the analgesic segment. They contribute to almost 88% of the pain analgesics category. And this is, if you see, the analgesics category is growing by close to 44% at a month value level and close to 75% at a month unit level. So in the pain category also, it is the analgesic segment which has pulled up the growth of the market. Also, if you see in analgesics, it is mainly paracetamol, which is paracetamol and paracetamol combinations, which contribute to almost 50% of the analgesics category. And it is this paracetamol which has grown by close to 100% for the month in terms of value and close to 122% in terms of value, in terms of units for the month. Now, it is this paracetamol consumption which has led to this growth. Now, why does the paracetamol consumption increase? Is one is we always talk about the normalization of the patterns in the correction of the dip against last year. And if you see, a number of cases in the third wave were higher, body ache was common, there was a lot of OTC consumption of pain products. And besides all of this, we also talk about the vaccination drive. Today, close to 70% or more than 70% of the population is vaccinated. Youngsters are also getting their vaccines today. Senior citizens, patients with comorbid conditions, healthcare workers have already got their third shot, which is the booster shot. And the most common products that the healthcare workers or the doctors tell after giving the vaccine is take a dolo or take a paracetamol in case you feel body ache or some sort of discomfort. That may also have led to increase in consumption of certain pain and analgesic products. Next, we go to the growth drivers. Now, this growth drivers we have plotted from December 19 to January 22. This year of COVID, there was a complete disruption of the growth drivers wherein our volume-driven growth was completely negative. In the second wave, the volume growth was extremely positive. In the first wave, we were not prepared, or the industry was not prepared for the production, procurement, and distribution discrepancies or problems which came in, challenges which came in. In the second wave, the industry was prepared for all the challenges, and the industry also was, the demand for these products also was relatively higher. In the last 3 months, October, November, December, the volume-driven growth was relatively lower. But the good part is, for the month of January, the volume-driven growth, the price-driven growth, and the new product growth, all are proportionate and are in a healthy and a positive situation. Now, if I were to do a similar analysis at a therapy level, how would the picture look? At a therapy level, the anti-infective segment, the respiratory segment, and the pain analgesic segment are the ones where the volume-driven growth is on a relatively higher side. Again, if I were to compare it, I will have to look at, same period last year. The growth was highly negative or it was very small. So that's the reason why this correction has happened. Respiratory segment, as I discussed earlier, seeing a gap or an aberration between the normal and the extrapolated and the normal value trend line, and that aberration is mainly because the price driven growth that the respiratory market has seen. After this, we go to our corporate segment. We look at the top 40 corporates. If you see the top 40 corporate, the top 20 corporates, they contribute to more than 80% of the IPM or almost 70% of the IPM. And all of them for the MAT period have shown a robust growth. Also, if you look at certain corporates, they continue to show a very good double-digit value and unit growth. If I look at the next 20 corporates, we also see a similar situation seen in the next 20 corporates, where a good number of corporates show a good and double-digit growth. Now, how far all these top corporates would continue to show this type of growth would also depend upon the therapies in which they are present. So, a long-term analysis of the growth sustenance would actually also depend upon the therapies in which they are present. That analysis is not a part of this presentation. After the top 40 corporates, we go to the top 40 brands. In the top 40 brands, we are seeing that for the month, Dolo comes to the number one position with a growth of close to 200% in terms of value and units. Also, following Dolo, we also have Calpol, which in terms of value may be 43 crores, but for the month. But then it is also showing a robust 200% growth. Now, when we had look at the analgesic segment, the paracetamol plain preparations, paracetamol as such, the entire molecule itself has grown by close to 100%. But then within that molecule, there are certain outlier brands which have grown by 200% plus. That's one part. And second is Dolo, Calpol. These are the brands which are top of the mind. They're legacy brands which are there in the market for quite some time. So I would really appreciate the marketing efforts that many of these companies have taken to ensure that they not just leverage on the market opportunity well, but they continue to get a very good support from the market based on their product and the market opportunity. Besides this, we also have certain molecules or brands from the anti-infective segment like Augmentin, Monosef, from Zincovit we have from the nutritional segment. All of them have shown a very good double-digit growth. In the next 20 brands, we'll see that again, Zerodol from the pain segment, Cinerist from the cough and cold preparations from the gastro segment, all of them, the ones which are marked in green color, have shown a very good double-digit value and unit growth. This was about the top 20 brands. So this is, in summary, we have just analyzed the therapy performance, how the different therapies are performed. Without the outlier therapies, the market would have actually ended up with a close to 6% growth. But then it is just because of the three therapies, anti-infectives, pain, and respiratory segment, that the market growth has got pushed to close to 13.9%. Also, many of the top companies, top 40 companies, should have shown a very robust double-digit value and unit growth, whereas there are a good number of brands which also continue to show this type of performance. So net, to summarize on the performance or the key takeaways, is the IPM starts the first month of the year with a big bang double-digit value growth of 13.9%. This growth is skewed more towards the anti-infectives, respiratory, and pain segment. These three collectively contribute to around 30% of the IP. Within each of the outlier therapies, there are key segments and molecules or combinations that have driven the growth of these therapies. And within the molecules and the combination, there are certain brands which are outliers, which have driven the growth of these molecules or the combinations. New products, price, and volume growth are well balanced for the month of Jan 22. Several top companies and top brands show a double-digit growth for the month of Jan 22. Need to wait and watch to see how well this can be sustained. With this, we complete our analysis of the Indian pharma market for the month of Jan 22. Now we go to our next section, opinions that matter. In this section, we have our speaker today, Mr. Harpal Wala, who is the founding director and CEO of Kepler Healthcare Private Limited. He will be discussing with us the challenges and success in a pharma startup world to cross the rupees 100 crore milestone.
Hello everyone, welcome to Opinions That Matter. India is a land of opportunity, and the Indian pharma industry is no different. Over the years, we have seen many startup companies making it big with a visionary leadership. But have you ever wondered how this journey looks like? This month, we got an opportunity to speak with Mr. Harpal Wala, founder, director, and CEO of Kepler Healthcare. Kepler started its operations back in 2013 with a unique vision of creating a work environment that is stress free yet productive. A work environment that inspires its employees to perform better and reach great heights. Today, Mr. Harpalwala is an inspiration to many young professionals who aspire to make it big. So, welcome to Opinions That Matter. And our heartiest congratulations to you and the entire team for being one among the fastest companies to reach the 100 crore club.
Thank you, Richa, for your invitation at AWACS.
Please tell us something about your journey.
So, I would like to tell you that everything has started from the scratch. And before I started the Kepler, I would like to share with you about my journey. I had started my career as a medical rep. And after that, year after year of hard work, I was getting the promotion and I reached at the state level maybe in the 6 or 7 years of period. And after becoming the state head, I had an opportunity to learn more because I was getting frequently meeting with the senior management, top management, and top executive of the company. From there, I got a inspiration and even I got the aspiration also that I should also start a company. But looking at me and my experience and my efficiency, I was feeling that still I need to learn more. And so I tried a course in IIM Kolkata and in the entrance test I was selected and 1 year course I did of entrepreneurship at IIM Kolkata. And after that I joined a fastest growing company of India and there I worked for 6 years and I was also a major contribution in the growth story of that company. And then after experience over that aggressive and fastest growing company, I decided to start the company and with my colleague and my partner with Rakesh Shah, we started the company together. And the main reason I tell you that in the beginning we passed through a lot of tough time and tough situations and legal battles and many things come in between. And usually it happens that when you pass through such a tough and difficult phases, you give up, you withdraw. But in that situation actually we were always inventing ourselves along with my core team and I'm very happy to tell you that more than 80 people are working in Kepler. They are associated with me for more than 15 to 20 years. So that tough phase was passed. After that we got confidence, we got a lot of experience and we decided that now we should take this company to the next level. And lot of innovative ideas, lot of innovative marketing strategy, remaining focused in a selected few brands only, we were able to do the remarkably good business in many products. Our well-known campaign, which is well-known in the industry also, you can say, that is a Welcome Girl campaign. That Welcome Girl campaign, through that we had distributed 80,000 Welcome Girl kit to the newborn baby girl for the celebration, and we wanted to create a social awareness in the society. Through gynecologists we had done this and it has also given us a tremendous reciprocation from them. Same way, Heroes of Humanity campaign we started and that was for the COVID martyr, means those doctors who have lost their life during the COVID period. So to help their family, we had also donated huge amount to the COVID martyr fund. And along with that, existing more than 40,000 doctors, we had given a Kepler care kit for their personal immunity and for their multivitamin brands like Mocktail and all these things were included into the care kit. So that has also helped us. And this is the reason actually we were able to build 2 to 3 strong brand, and this year even you can say that around more than 100 means 120 crore. These 2-3 brands are a major contributor and they are strongly growing ahead. And at present growth of Kepler is 5 times more than the industry growth.
How did you manage to tide over the lockdown? Back in 2020, when the entire industry had faced this challenge like never before, even big established corporates were not fully prepared to handle the situation. How did Kepler tide over this?
Yes, it was a very difficult phase It was absolutely full of uncertainties. Nobody was aware that what will be the future or what is going to happen after 5 months, 6 months or 1 year. So whatever decisions we are taking, that was on the basis of gut feeling. And major few decisions we took at the top management level was that we had decided that we will not deduct a single rupees of our employees. So there was not a deduction in the salary at any level. Second important phase is that when lockdown was announced, we started the training and development program, but everything was possible up to 15-20 days. After that, what to do? So we took a bold decision and we decided, and I think Kepler was the first company to enter in the field during the lockdown period. And our purpose was not to go meet the doctor and generate the prescription. Our purpose was to go there. Our medical reps were going, meeting doctors, and they were helping them. That if you need anything, we will help you. And lot of multivitamin, means our mocktail brands and many other things were provided from our side for their better health. And any other things also, where whichever requirement was there, we are trying to fulfilling that. And that has also helped us a lot. And during this COVID phase, we did not give up, and our team was also committed. And since they were also getting all the remuneration, salary and everything, they had also reciprocated by doing their hard work, and we were able to even grow even despite of this COVID phase. That was a growth even in a COVID year also. And this current year, which is a year after COVID year, you know already that it is growing at the rate of 67% as per your AWACS data only, and that 67 means 5 times more than the industry growth.
So basically, Kepler resumed work early, but not with an intention of brand promotion. The decision to go back to work was to be of service to the HCPs in whatever way possible. I'm sure, sir, many of our audience would agree with me when I say that this is only possible when you have a team that believes in your mission and vision. Tell us a little more about your team, sir.
We have a wonderful team. You can say one of the best team in the industry, and that is a core team, and that is a senior manager team across the field they are working, and product management team, PMT team. They all are there from the day one. So excellent stability is there. And along with that stability, why actually they remains fully motivated, because the purpose, they are able to connect with the company's goal, and their vision and company's vision, it is absolutely aligned. So they know that along with the growth with the company, they are also personally grow, and they have that confidence and trust in the management also, in the leadership also. And this is the reason all always remains in a always, you can say, the on mode, or they are always inspired to do the extra work also and to produce wonderful result also.
So now what next? What are the future plans for Kepler?
It is absolutely clear. There is a 3 aspects which we are going to focus more. Number 1, right now Kepler is a company of 1400 happy employees. Kepler should become a dream company for them. They should be very happy working here, they should prosper here, and they should be peaceful also. And that is the core philosophy which is helping us to grow faster. Even more than 80 employees we have in Kepler, they are from the day one, not only from the day one, they are working with me as a team for more than 15 to 20 years. So keep them charged, motivated, and they will bring another employees, because future growth plan is there. Now, though Kepler is a pan-India company, main division is pan-India company, there is a lot of expansion plan is going on, and few more division also we may launch in the coming 2 or 3 years. So we may require another 1500 people, and through that we are going to grow further. Number 2, we always believe in the world-class international quality products. And it is not only about the quality, it is also about innovative products. From the day one, we are bringing something innovative, unique in our products, and that is definitely helping us to get a better support from the doctors. And that is also giving us the advantage at the patient's levels, at the better acceptance, because they are happy because of that certain uniqueness which we are giving in our products. And we are also planning to bring few more innovative world-class products, and many of the products, some discussion is going on at the international level also. Some international tie-up may take place in a coming years. and we may launch a few products which may be the first time in the country. And third part, which I would like to say is, third part which is very important, that we are doing a marketing of the company, and all the companies are spending a lot of or huge amount on that. But many of our campaigns, which remains a purpose driven, which remains to serve, the intention behind remains to serve the society, knowing indirectly we are contributing to society and along with the promoting our brands, and that is also helping us. So this is how our future growth plan is there, and I am sure we are going to get the response and recognition from the doctor side, from our employees. We are getting a good support because of their hard work, dedication, and commitment. Only company is growing.
I guess you've cracked the formula to success with this highly motivated and purpose driven team, coupled with the company's resolve of bringing innovative and quality products. So, thank you so much for sharing your journey with all of us today. It was a pleasure speaking with you. I also take this opportunity to thank our viewers for their overwhelming response. If you have any suggestions or feedbacks, please feel free to write back to us or speak to our client servicing team. We look forward to having you join us next time when we get to speak to a great visionary lady who brought about a turnaround for the corporate. Till then, take care and keep safe. Have a great day ahead.